Buckle up, folks. It's time for another turbulent BuckIQ. That's Zach Boren. I'm Austin Ward. This is the podcast. And if you don't want to relive Ohio State and Oregon again on Saturday night, I completely understand. If you do want to look at some of those defensive breakdowns and some third down problems, Zach is going to do that with us. Are you feeling any better a couple days removed from the loss, Zach?
No, actually, I think I feel worse. And the reason why is because Ryan talked about it, I think, Monday night. And as a former player, kind of a diehard fan, you start playing all of those plays back in your head. And I know Ryan said, I think he played them 1,000 times over. And I've done the same thing, playing some of those plays over and over and over again. And it goes back to what we're going to discuss today, especially with third down. How we didn't get off the field in certain situations is beyond me. How we gave up as many big plays as we did is beyond me. I felt like we were going back to BuckIQ of 2018 and 2019, right? You remember those days?
Yeah.
We were just giving up big play after big play. That's what it felt like. And so, you and I have talked about this. This is like one of the main quotes that people say is big time players play big in big time games. That is like the mantra of, hey, these big time games, big time players step up and make plays. And that was like the complete opposite of what the Buckeyes did Saturday night. And there needs to be a lot of accountability. I think that's something that this team, and I would say more of the coaching staff, is struggling with. And I'm not talking about Ryan Day at all. I'm talking about on the defensive side of the football. There needs to be some accountability there of how your players are performing, how you put them in certain situations. If they're not performing, you need to make changes. You need to send a message. And that's not being done. And that wasn't done Saturday night.
What do you think is the thing that must be looked at, Zach? Ryan Day always talks, well, it could be the scheme, it could be the fundamentals of the coaching, or maybe it's the personnel. And generally it winds up being some of everything. And I think you could find certain plays, even in the ones that we are going to look at today on BuckIQ. It's like, well, this might be a scheme breakdown. This might be the wrong personnel. This might be a technique. Do you think it's one more than the other? Or if it's all of them, what does that mean for this off week?
Yeah. It is all three. You hit the nail on the head. But when it comes to big time college football, everyone's going to have technique, right? Everyone's going to be skilled from that standpoint. It comes down to scheme and personnel, right? Like what are you calling to go against them? Like what situations are you putting your own guys in from a scheme standpoint? And then who are those guys that are performing those duties? I mean, it's pretty plain and simple. Are you putting guys in the best position to succeed? If you have, for example, if you have a bad cover man corner, right? Are you going to put them in man a lot? No, you're probably going to give them some help over top. If you have a bad zone coverage corner, guess what? You're probably going to try and man him up more and put him in those situations. So schematically, you need to be able to call things in certain situations, and that's down and distance as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, hey, what are we calling on 3rd and 6? What are we calling compared to 3rd and 12? Those things definitely matter. But at the end of the day, too, man, it's personnel. Are you putting the right guys on the field? Are you putting the right guys in the position to make plays when they need to be made? And I think scheme and personnel have to be the two things that this coaching staff is looking at in this bye week.
You said on the Born Blitz that, everyone in the Woody needed to take a look in the mirror and see, an honest evaluation. Because you could look at the game and, like, collectively, I think Ohio State could feel like, well, they scored 31 points on the road and they got they at least forced a late field goal, or 6 for 14. That's not the worst third down conversion overall. I think that's probably what you're talking about, right? There can't be any silver linings or grasping at straws for that if you're actually, because Iowa converted some 3rd and longs that we weren't expecting the week before. Like some of these things are not new.
I was just about to say that. It's not like this was an anomaly, right? And it's one game. We saw against Iowa, who I don't even know if they know how to throw the football, but they threw the football against us last week, whatever you want to call it, and converted 3rd downs. The other issue is there has been a glaring issue with the pass rush. And guess what? It continued to happen again Saturday night. So it's not like things came up that haven't come up so far this year. It's kind of like the things that we've been talking about and some of the things that has been worrying us became glaring holes Saturday night against Oregon. And that's what's going to happen in big time games. Those little things that, might be little against Iowa or Western Michigan or Akron, they're going to be massive sores for the team. And good teams are gonna find those holes and they're gonna attack them. And that's what happened. Dylan Gabriel had all day to throw on Saturday night. Obviously, our coverage was not very good, especially on double moves. There were just our tackling was not the greatest, and that showed up kind of recently. There are just so many things that have been such small things leading up to this that then guess what? You got to look yourself in the mirror, and that's where my comment comes back from the Boren Blitz of there needs to be some accountability. You need to look yourself in the mirror from a coaching standpoint, from a player standpoint. Here's another thing. I looked at some stats recently of, I think it was like the last 6 top 5 matchups that Ohio State has had. They have failed to make the team punt in the fourth quarter. How do you not get off the field in the fourth quarter? It goes back to, we talked about in the Boren Blitz, Michigan game last year, 9 minutes left, right? You score to get within a score.
Yep.
And guess what? You can't get off the field when you need to get off the field. It's like you talk about Georgia in 22. You can't get off the field in the fourth quarter. And so all of these things have been adding up, but it comes back to a multitude of or two really simple things: scheme and personnel. Like it comes back to those two things. In the current coaching staff, I don't believe, and this is defense side, not offense, is not putting guys in position to create the most havoc in effective football game.
Well, and in those games that you mentioned, which are those biggest ones against Michigan and Georgia, and what happened on Saturday against Oregon, 2 total sacks in those games, and 1 came from a linebacker. So I don't know that we've actually danced around the topic, but it's pretty clear that, and I'm not the one that created this. Everyone says you got to win championships in the trenches, and I don't know that Ohio State's doing that right now. We're going to figure out, or Ohio State's going to try and figure out how to get that going down in the second half, and we're going to look at what happened right now against the Ducks. Let's roll the tape. Let's get right into it, Zach, with the one that was, I think, probably the most troubling of the game for Ohio State on front to back, scheme, personnel, execution. I don't even know where to begin with this.
I don't know if I've ever seen this defense before. And I don't even know what to say, because watching it, I was a bit confused. And now as you watch the tape, you get even more confused, because this is cover 0. If you pause this right now, look at the 5 DBs. They are literally in cover 0. Like this is even man cover 1. Like this is cover 0, meaning everyone's man on man. They're bringing 2 blitzers, okay, in this situation. And it looks like Lathan Ransom here is the spy, which I completely understand. 3rd and 9, you have a spy for the quarterback. What I don't understand is there are 3 defensive linemen that are dropping and aren't even bringing pressure. So if you're playing cover 0, knowing like, hey, listen, we have to get after the quarterback. That's why you play cover 0. Guess what? We're bringing the house. We're manning up. There is no help anywhere. Guess what? We need to get to the quarterback. In that situation, you hope your defenders are guarding someone for 2 seconds or less. Here, it's like we're bringing blitzers who are picked up 2 against 5. Of course, Oregon's going to win that battle. And then we're dropping 3 defensive linemen that I don't understand. Where's that coming from? I don't know if that's a defensive play call. I don't know if that's Larry Johnson telling his defensive lineman to do something in this situation, because that does happen. The defensive line will run different fronts compared to holistically what the defensive call is. And I get it. Sometimes it works. But in this situation, I don't know what this defense is. I would be shocked if this is a defensive play call, cover 0, bring 2 guys, have a spy, and play everyone else man to man. Don't get it. I don't know if we'll ever get it. I don't even know if the coaches will ever come out and say what happened in this situation, but this is about as bizarre of a play call as you will ever get.
It just, I was rewatching it and I was trying to figure out what the actual motivation was here, because even when you drop the defensive lineman, they don't go back to the sticks. It's 3rd and 9, which historically is a pretty good pressure down, Zach, right? Like
Right.
you get to, yeah, they say pin your ears back and go get them, and we've seen that from Ohio State in the past. But then it's like they don't even drop back to stop the sticks in a conversion. They're halfway in the middle here. There's only one route coming through in the middle of the field. It's like what are we seeing here?
There has to be a miscommunication, because if you run this back just real quick, and this is the last we're going to talk about this, but Lathan Ransom shows blitz, right, to try and get one of the offensive linemen to come on him. So look at Lathan. Stop it. Lathan's over the left guard right now. Okay. So Lathan Ransom, knowing he's the spy, if you count the box right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 guys against their 5, right? If you're only bringing 5, it's 1-on-1. So what Lathan does here is you show blitz, you engage the offensive lineman. Ryan Shazier and I used to run this all the time. You engage the offensive lineman, then you drop back. What it does is the offensive lineman's engaged, and when you're bringing more than what they have, someone is going to be free. So as the guy who's peeling back out and as the spy, you have to make sure you're engaging someone. Take someone right down the center, make sure they latch onto you, because then they can't get one of the free guys. So guess what? You engage, then you peel out, which is exactly what Lathan Ransom does right here, and you become the spy. But there should have been 5 other guys that were coming, and then there's a guy free, and Dillon Gabriel doesn't have this time. Like, I don't know if it's a miscommunication. I have no idea. That's why it's so confusing.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it right here, Zach. Denzel Burke is at this point in pretty good coverage. Now we know that it doesn't stay that way through the duration of the play, but Dillon Gabriel's already been in the pocket for 4 seconds at this point. Denzel Burke probably feels like the work is done here. That's not to, make excuses for Denzel Burke, but like,
I agree.
How long are you? Everyone is covered at this point.
When you're a DB and you know it's cover 0 and you think like, hey, we're bringing the house, you're like, great. I only got to cover for a couple seconds at this point. Like you said, Denzel Burke and a lot of these DBs probably think like, man, I'm in good shape. Like I'm good to go. Instead, guess what? You get beat deep after that. Yeah, I don't know. I'd be asking a lot of questions.
All right, 4th quarter, Oregon's final touchdown, the one that makes it more difficult here, and Ohio State gets a 3rd and 2 situation once more. And they see a scheme that we've seen the Buckeyes handle very well in the past, and they completely blow this one.
Yeah, shocker, right? Guess what? We're playing man again. Look at this. Now, this is cover 1, okay? Lathan Ransom and Caleb Downs are playing man on the back, okay? Now, guess what? We also have Cody Simon, who's in the pocket, who's in the middle, who's, guess what, playing the run. That's what they do. You see Sonny Styles take the tight end. JTT has one responsibility here, Austin, and what is it?
Quarterback.
That's what it is. You look at this. Look where Caleb Downs is. Look where Cody Simon is. They are covering the run. They have the run.
That run's going nowhere.
It's not going anywhere. You blow up the quarterback right here, it's over. They give it to the running back. It's not going anywhere. Instead, JTT goes after the running back. So now you got 3 guys on the running back. Sonny's obviously on the tight end. I don't know if that's IGB out here. I think it is. That's matched up on the wide receiver. And now Lathan Ransom, the cover 1 safety, has to come down and play in space and try and make a play on an athletic quarterback. And it's tough right there. Guess what? It's 3rd and 2. He's trying to make the stop, get there, misses a tackle, and Dillon Gabriel's gone. Like, another complete just error by the defense. Like, this is alarming. You drill Dillon Gabriel right there. That's a free shot. Take that dude out. I don't care if he gives the ball. Freaking drill him.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what else to say about that one, but there was still another run play that wound up being pretty critical. 3rd and 6. This is a situation that Ohio State needs to live in, needs to thrive in to win a championship. And don't get it done. And they don't, it's not because of a pass or a breakdown in coverage. They just can't stop the run in a situation where Oregon felt like they could still attack Ohio State's front.
3rd and 6, man. Like, come on, get off the field. The game. This is the game. 4 minutes left. 3rd and 6. Guess what? If you're the defense, you're looking around saying, let's freaking step up and make a play, man. Like, this is our time. Okay. 3rd and 6. I don't know what happens again here. I don't know. If you go back to the other angle right here, it looks like Caleb Downs is triggering on this, right? And you got Lathan Ransom stacked over top. Obviously, again, cover 1, right? We talk about, man, look at what Jordan Hancock's doing on the snap, going to the middle of the field. Look what Lathan Ransom's doing, covering on the, I don't know if it's a slot receiver down here. I think it is who's blocking down. Lathan Ransom's going on that. It's a blitz that they are disguising from the very beginning. They do a good job disguising it because normally guys manned up with safeties over top in some kind of zone. Guess what? Ball snap. Jordan Hancock goes in the middle of the field. Lathan Ransom comes down. So it's a blitz with Caleb Downs, which I love the play call. But if you go back, I think Caleb Downs is confused about what the defensive front is doing in front of him. Because Caleb Downs, look at this. Motion comes in. Caleb Downs firing, right? He expects to go inside because JTT is supposed to have the gap of, guess what? The guard and the tackle, but he goes inside the guard on a spin move. And Caleb Downs is so caught off guard because he's firing in that, like, he's like, that's where I'm supposed to go. You get a better look of it right here. Caleb Downs has the A gap. If JTT does what he's supposed to do and literally go to the outside shoulder of the guard, instead, he tries pulling a spin move to get there, which makes 0 sense. Your gap is literally the B gap right there between the guard and tackle. And you can see where Caleb Downs is going. He's going to the A gap, what he's responsible for, and where he's supposed to be blitzing. Instead, he's like, what the hell is going on? And tries playing off of it, but literally is out of the play by this point. Mm-hmm. Like, it makes 0 sense what they're doing. I understand, Sonny. Guess what? You're keeping contained. I get it. You need to be a little bit stronger at the point of attack. We talked about that time and time again. Sonny, guess what? Put your right foot in the ground and freaking hold that position. Lean back into that offense tackle, freaking get off them. Let your other dudes come and make the play. IGB doesn't get off the block. Dude, the wide receiver is blocking his butt off. I mean, this play was messed up from the beginning, though, because, again, the defensive line is doing whatever they want to do.
Whew. Okay. Well, we made it to the end, Zach. Those aren't the most fun BuckIQs for anybody. And I don't know that we got any closer to the answer, but at least we found some of the things that hopefully Ohio State is looking at and addressing to get ready for when they're back on the field in about 9 days against Nebraska. Thanks for getting through it with me. He's Zach Boren. I'm Austin Ward. This has been BuckIQ on the podcast. We will see you next time.